Alright, I've been dreading this video, but here we go. Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was released earlier this year, 2024, to more than lackluster reviews. Most of the content creators that covered it were very disappointed that it did not live up to the promise of Ubisoft to be a spiritual successor to Black Flag. It spent about a decade in development hell and has elements of survival and all these other genres that just it never became. So let's take a look at what it really is. We'll start with the story. The story is god-awful, garbage. No characters are memorable. The only reason you keep seeing them is because they have quests to give you daily. Other than that, and buying some really nice items from them, and selling your Black Skull rum or your black opium to get a lot of money. Beyond that, these characters mean nothing. And it really annoys me because I'm a writer, and sitting through this campaign was infuriating, to say the least. Now, one thing I will give them is the world building through outposts and random NPC chatter is all so much better than the main story. All of it, all the side quests and whatnot that you have to do, it gives you a little bit of world building lore, and all of it is so much better. Your first mate, she does nothing, but she does say stuff, and it's all world building tidbits, and all of it sounds so much better of an adventure than what we got with the MSQ, or main story quest. The main story suffers from terrible lead characters. Skurlock is a pirate kingpin who doesn't feel like he's got that dog in him. Rama, which that name annoys me, but we'll get into that more later maybe, is hypocritical and just downright unlikable. Like, she has no development. She's so one-dimensional and just annoying to listen to. I would honestly say that between her and Skurlock, I'd rather the entire MSQ be done working with Skurlock. Now, as the player, you get shipwrecked after losing a fight, and then for no reason at all, Skurlock decides you're the next big kingpin. You're gonna take him places. Spoiler alert, you don't. You really don't. Eventually you go meet Rama and try and help her, who she is mad at these quote-unquote mega corporations. That was not a term used back then. And she wants them gone. Not to free her land or her people or anything. She wants them gone so she can establish herself as a mega corporation. It has very woke undertones that aren't quite so under as much as they are tones, especially with her. And it's not entertaining, it's not fun. I can't believe I sat through it, and I will not ever sit through it again. So if you're a new player and you're wondering, should I pick this game up? Sure. It's $20 to get Ubisoft Plus and play it, but skip the storyline. The multiple dialogue stuff doesn't mean anything. They don't say anything. I played it with a friend, and I chose different dialogue options from what he chose just to see how it plays out differently. It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't even have the surface level of making you feel connected to them or participating in a conversation. None of that. I don't even know why it's there. So yes, please skip the story for your own sake. I wrote a short story about a sea adventure, and this game has sea monsters, it has ghost ships, it has all this stuff, and none of it is talked about in the main story. It's almost like it doesn't exist. All this fantastical stuff, and none of it's ever really mentioned. All of that is mentioned in the open world side, and that's where all the good story is. For the most part, as far as good goes, it's all out there. All of it. And again, I wrote a short story, and it has all those things, and it's so much better. And it's a damn short story. This is a full-on campaign. Skip it. It's not worth it. My advice to the developers: find a writer who is good at writing pirate stories and hire them for any future narrative. Now, moving on to the gameplay. At its core, the gameplay is just ship piloting and third person running around. The ship piloting part of the game is fine. It's very arcadey. It's not like Sea of Thieves. It's point and shoot. And depending on where you're looking from your ship, depends on what weapon you're using. You can hold a key on your keyboard or button on your controller and access your ballista or mortar or whatever, your artillery type weapon. And if you turn to the back, you can access your back cannons, back flamethrower, whatever you put there. All that is fine. Again, not Sea of Thieves. Very arcadey. It's like piloting a ship. Literally. What I would like to see to improve this is take the enemy ship AI, right? Lift that, put it on player vessels, so the player can come off the wheel, let the first mate stand to the side, and take the wheel, and give them an option of passive or defensive. So if they get attacked, AI will either ignore it or respond. The next quality of life I would like to see is on the map marker. When you mark on the map a location, it puts that little yellow or whatever color light in the sky for you and your crew to go to. Give that an auto sail to option. Very simple. You just come off your wheel, your AI will auto sail there and stop. Very simple. I believe that will be a great quality of life improvement. Now moving on to the next great quality of life improvement I would like to see. Third person on foot ground combat. And the best way to implement this in a small section and build a foundation for future ground combat is your megaforts and your outposts. When you are raiding or plundering a megafort and you break that wall, you should have one of your little cutscenes, and it teleports the player inside with a room full of bad guys, and just lift some of that Assassin's Creed melee combat and pistol play and put it in this game. It shouldn't be hard to do. It should be fine. That way you get a room or two where you melee fight some AI, you maybe solve a puzzle, pull a lever, whatever, and you get the loot, and then it plays a cutscene with you and your crew back on your ship and the treasure, and just a small celebration that can be skipped. All these cutscenes should be skippable. Now, while you're in there on foot doing ground combat, what's going to happen with your ship outside is simple. Your AI takes over, it's in defensive mode, and it fights on its own any ships coming in. If you have a crew and you board inside, you should have an option to go in or stay on your ship. That way you can have somebody in there fighting on ground combat and you have somebody doing ship combat. It would be great. Again, this would be a great foundation to future ground combat. Another way you can do it, alongside, not instead of, but alongside, is these different outposts you can go to. There should be a bounty there with one guy you have to do melee combat with. You kill him, you pick up an item for the bounty, you go turn it in. That would be a great starting point to ground combat. Now let's review in-game. So your in-game is basically your network, your pieces of 8, and your manufacturing. The in-game loop as it is could use some improvements, but for the most part it's fine. Especially since it gets reset every season. Every season is 3 months. When I played, I would only play a couple hours a night, and I progressed just fine. Now, I only had Ubisoft Plus for a month. I got it when the game came out. I played part of the first season. The rewards are, well, that the value of the rewards will differ from person to person. As far as I'm concerned, the Battle Pass and everything is fine. But do listen to player feedback for sure. And if you're a player, give feedback. When I watched one of the live streams they did, it seemed like the developers didn't really know where to go with the game, and they were begging people to leave feedback on their Reddit and other socials. Take them at their word. If you want this game to get better and progress and be good, really good, give feedback. Share this video even. Whatever you do, give your feedback. Express your opinions. The last point I want to cover is PvP. PvP in this game is dog water. And the reason it's dog water isn't even the combat, it's the way the systems are set up. If somebody's doing a pieces of 8 and they do double or nothing, you can literally sail around them, see where they're going, all that. Follow them on the map, whatever, and you don't have to be flagged for PvP. You can literally sail up around them, don't be flagged for PvP. And then, when it's the most opportune time and the AI spawn and they start getting distracted, you can flag for PvP and take them out. Hell, you can even go and body block them and prevent them from getting to certain outposts where there's a lot of thin waterways that they can't get through. You can literally body block them and sink them. Very annoying. What I would like to see is a timer and or distance buffer where if you want to join the PvP, you get flagged and everything, but you cannot engage for 30 seconds, or you have to be 1,000 meters away, or both. And once you're flagged, everybody knows you're flagged. They can see you on the overhead compass, they can see you on the map, and there's no griefing, there's no way to take advantage of a bad situation. This way, when players are dealing with a bunch of AI or whatever and they see a boat nearby, if you're within 1,000 meters or whatever, you cannot flag for PvP, and if you do, you have to wait 30 seconds. They know you're flagged, they can tell you're flagged, and that gives them a little bit of time to prepare for that combat. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but the way it is right now is just way too abusive and it's way too exploitative. Moving on to the final segment of this video, the overall impression and feeling I got from Skull and Bones is most content creators that did review the game had hope for a successor to Black Flag. They did not get that. I believe their anger and disappointment colored their review way too much and did not give the game a fair shake. So I'm going to give you my most honest opinion. This is not a $70 game. It is somewhere between $30 and $40. That is where I would put it. I put it at 30. My friend put it at 40. End of discussion on the price. If you can get it for that much, do it. Grab it on sale. Do not buy this full price. All in all, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this video gets shared. I hope people understand what the game needs for longevity, for better improvement, for good foundations, for future systems and events. It just needs a better narrative, better storytelling, and it needs ground combat. It needs better PvP. The core gameplay itself is actually good. It just needs some love. Now, if you liked this video and you agreed with what I said, leave a like. If you didn't, you can dislike. It's up to you. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and share the video. As always, I'm the Beast. Goodbye, darlings.